The halls of General Hospital have long been the stage for heartbreak, betrayal, and battles that leave characters scarred in both body and spirit, but rarely has the canvas been painted with such raw, unsettling questions as those surrounding Drew Cain after the devastating shooting that left him clinging to life. The man who once built his identity on strength, endurance, and control now awakens to a reality where even the simple act of standing might be ripped away forever. What happens when a man known for resilience faces the possibility of paralysis? That is the question haunting both Drew and the people of Port Charles, as his latest ordeal reshapes not only his body but also the fragile web of trust, suspicion, and manipulation that he has spun around himself. The moment Drew's eyes open, he is greeted not by relief, but by terror. 2 bullets, tearing dangerously close to his spinal cord, have transformed his body into a prison. The stillness of his legs tells a story more chilling than any words could capture. In the quiet hum of hospital machines, Drew confronts the shattering possibility that his life will no longer be defined by motion, but by immobility. For a man accustomed to power and leverage, to waking each day as a strategist and survivor, the silence of paralyzed limbs is a cruel and ironic punishment. Yet, in true soap opera fashion, the meaning of his paralysis is not limited to the physical. It becomes a mirror, reflecting the consequences of the choices that led him here. Drew's path to this hospital bed is steeped in betrayal and manipulation. He has, in recent months, thrived on coercion, wielding secrets as weapons, blackmailing allies and adversaries alike until nearly every resident of Port Charles had reason to resent him. That resentment now hangs in the air around his bed like an unspoken verdict. The shooting was not random, it was retribution. And while many whisper about the cruelty of his fate, others cannot help but think he invited this reckoning. A paralyzed Drew Cain is no longer a man to be feared but a man to be pitied, or perhaps even despised for the weakness he once mocked in others. What makes this storyline so compelling is the ambiguity of Drew's condition. Will he be bound to a wheelchair permanently, or is this paralysis merely a temporary state, one that physical therapy and time might undo? The uncertainty adds layers of tension. As he begins the grueling process of rehabilitation, fans wonder whether the pain in his body is matched by genuine remorse in his heart. Will paralysis force Drew to confront his darkest instincts, or will he manipulate even this misfortune into another ploy for control? The prospect of Drew using his condition to evoke sympathy is not just speculation, it is a natural extension of his past behavior. Vulnerability, for him, could become the sharpest weapon of all. Imagine Drew, wheeled into a room, his once commanding presence replaced with frailty. To some, the sight would inspire compassion, to others, it would stoke suspicion. Port Charles residents know all too well that Drew rarely reveals anything without a calculated motive. If he plays the role of the broken man, how many will believe his tears, and how many will see through them as crocodile cries designed to disarm enemies? Already, whispers echo that he might not be paralyzed at all, that this could be yet another ruse, a mask crafted to cloak his true agenda. If that rumor gains traction, Drew's road to redemption may collapse under the weight of distrust. The possibility of Drew faking paralysis is a twist perfectly suited to the volatile drama of General Hospital. A man confined to a wheelchair can go places unnoticed, listen to conversations others might censor in the presence of an able-bodied adversary, and extract secrets under the guise of helplessness. Yet this strategy, if it exists, would be as dangerous as it is clever. In a town where loyalty is fragile and enemies are watchful, any slip in the act could undo him completely. Worse still, such deceit would cut the deepest within his own family. Drew's grandmother has borne the weight of genuine paralysis for years, and for him to mimic her suffering for personal gain would be an act of cruelty so profound it could shatter even the last bonds of loyalty he clings to. And then comes the haunting question: does Drew even want to live like this? Port Charles has seen many characters wrestle with the will to survive after catastrophic loss, but Drew's torment is particularly sharp. His enemies outnumber his friends, his history of manipulation has eroded goodwill, and the idea of a lifetime in a chair might feel more like a death sentence than an opportunity for growth. Some whisper that Drew might rather die than live disabled, that his pride and obsession with power will not allow him to exist in such a diminished state. Whether he chooses resilience or despair could define not just his own story, but the way others react to him in the days to come. What makes this storyline pulse with drama is the ripple effect it promises across Port Charles. For every character who might soften at Drew's plight, there is another who remembers his betrayals too vividly to forgive. Sympathy and suspicion will clash in living rooms, offices, and hospital corridors, tearing at alliances and fueling conflicts that extend beyond Drew's hospital bed. Is his injury a punishment, a second chance, or a performance? No one knows, and that uncertainty will drive the narrative forward with relentless tension. In the end, Drew's paralysis, real or feigned, forces Port Charles to confront uncomfortable truths about power, vulnerability, and the masks people wear. A man once feared may now be pitied, but pity is fickle, and if it curdles into resentment, Drew could find himself more isolated than ever. His fate, whether as a man who learns humility through suffering or as a manipulator who exploits tragedy, will test the patience of his family, the resolve of his enemies, and the loyalty of fans who have watched his story twist and turn for years. As the week of September 8 to 12 looms with promises of arrests, returns, and rescues, Drew Kane's journey stands at the center of the storm. Will he rise from the chair with newfound strength, or will he fall further into deceit and disgrace? One thing is certain. General Hospital has once again crafted a tale where the line between victim and villain blurs, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, questioning not only Drew's future but also the darker impulses that drive every soul in Port Charles. Would you like me to expand this even further into a continuous single-paragraph narrative of approximately 10,000 characters, like a serialized magazine article, instead of breaking it into sections, to match the immersive soap opera style you often prefer?